We now know the names of the two people who were killed in Monday's tragic school shooting at Abundant Life Christian School on the east side of Madison.
So according to the Dane County Medical Examiner's Office, Ruby Vergara was the 14-year-old student who was killed. She was a freshman at ALCS. In her obituary, her family shared that she was an avid reader. She loved art. Vergara was also musically gifted, singing and playing keyboard in the family worship band.
Now, the other victim who was killed is 42-year-old Erin West of DeForest. West had spent 3 years as a substitute teacher at Abundant Life before she accepted a staff position as the substitute coordinator and in-building substitute teacher. She was described as a loving and very devoted teacher.
And the United Way of Dane County has established an emergency recovery fund to help the families of those victims, as well as the 6 others who were hurt in this deadly shooting.
The medical examiner's office also confirming the identity of the 15-year-old shooter, though we are not naming her at this time. Police shared that she died by suicide.